My name is Luca Battistella. I'm an aspiring composer for games as well as a bassist and a musician. In my past few years at music school, I've been learning a lot about how to make my musical products better. But as my years at school are moving closer and closer to an end, I've started to wonder about life after. I'm going to have to start making money with my products, and that's scary. Personally, I haven't done much paid work as a musician. Although I know a lot of my peers might already be making most of their money through music, it's all quite new to me. And so I decided to search for some answers to the question, how can I make sure that I'll be alright working as a freelance musician? I've talked to 10 professionals about how they make a living as a musician. Some of these people have jobs on the side of their music career, while others live entirely off of music. I asked them about their personal experiences doing what they do. I've learned a ton by doing this, and sadly I can't include all of my findings in this video. However, I have picked these 7 important tips to share with you. Hopefully they can help you be a more successful composer, musician, or producer. And most of these tips also apply to other creatives. Tip number 1, make friends. This first tip might seem incredibly obvious, as most of the other tips probably also will, but it's important to understand why it's important. It's not for nothing that almost all the people I talked to mentioned making connections.
90+% of my work has come from relationships I have with people. Humans are social creatures, and we want to work with people we have a relationship with, that we trust, that we enjoy their company, and also could do the work. People can sniff out a mile away when people are coming to you for transactions.
People really feel when you kind of like talk to them in a genuine way versus they just like this person just wants my money or something like that.
Yeah.
So just be yourself, be kind to people, don't be, like a bad person on the internet or whatever, and you will be fine.
Anything you can do to engage naturally with people, you should do. Don't force yourself on people. That gets annoying. Just engage with people naturally. Try to learn about what they do and take a genuine interest in it. If it leads to anything, cool. If it doesn't, cool. Sometimes a single connection you make with somebody can lead to a job like 6 years down the road.
Meet people in the gaming industry. Go to events and just befriend them. Ask for help, because this industry is the only one where I work that it's full of people that it's genuinely happy to help.
Start, while networking and putting yourself out there as soon as possible, and don't wait for your studies to be over, because you can start going to game jams, and you can even start creating maybe a website, or at least like a Twitter account, maybe a YouTube channel, and you can start talking to people, making content and stuff like that.
Keeping track of all the connections that you have and keeping the really relevant ones of those, keeping them warm and alive and well held up.
Make friends with the people around you, because you never know who's going to be doing what in 5 years. Like, someone could be running a game company and they need someone to write music, and you're their friend who writes music. Making the connections while you can, making friends, being a generally fun hang it goes a long way in that, because I think just people choose to work with their friends when they can. That's usually the first place that people look. They won't put an ad out first. They'll go through their friends.
It's a lot of time it's been about who you know. Always make connections, always connect with people. Be kind to everyone, because you don't know if at some point they're going to be a part of a project that you want to be a part of. Don't ever be mean about somebody else's work, because again, it's all about who you know.
Yeah. Basically, just don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick. That's the best way to put it. Don't be a dick.
Tip number 2, work together. Working together can be useful in virtually any situation. Music is no different.
Collaboration for me has been the biggest boon to my career, is just working with other people that are better than me at stuff. So I have to make it work. I gotta keep up. Finding little things you can do that can piggyback on something else someone else has done. Even if it's just spending a few weeks making a game with some people that have art that is so good, it helps augment your music. Like finding people that are trying to do the kinds of stuff your work belongs in. That is something you've done. That's something you can show someone. Try and come up with try to find reasons to keep making music and fill that portfolio up. And if there's anything cool, mixed media or whatever that you can work on with anyone else in a community, that is absolutely the way to go about it. I feel like the best artists hold each other up. You know, if you can combine your craft with someone who's doing something else, and you do nothing but make each other's craft better when you're working together. I mean, that's ideal.
Tip number 3, show your work. This, again, sounds obvious, but it is key in finding work.
So also, it's obviously very important that you showcase your work, like as much as you can. Like, I cannot really tell you how much of this you should do. Like, do it at your own pace, but I also know that you have to do it.
I 100% recommend that you do music videos of whatever it is you like, but just make sure you've got some stuff that you can showcase to your clients. It doesn't matter sometimes how talented you are. Put things out to the world. You, at the end of the day, have to be a bit of a salesman, regardless of, like, I know it's not the most funnest thing to do. You have to sell, like, what it is you do. Like, just be able to put it out there and be like, yeah. But then show it, have proof. Yep. So basically, when you're out networking, you go to conventions and you're talking to people, you can hand them a card, you can just give them a QR code, and then boom, they can go see you. And so if you're claiming you can compose, you're claiming you can perform, here's a proof. Have that ready to go first before you do any kind of, like, word of mouth, or you're trying to shamelessly promote yourself to a group of people that don't even know you.
Tip number 4, keep making things. As with any craft, it's important that you keep practicing. It really is the only way to get better.
One of the best things you can do as a creator is just to always be creating something, even if you're not going to use it later. The worst case is you just got rid of bad options, or you got something that can be edited later.
The more you do what it is you're trying to do professionally, the better you'll get at it. And the more you do it than other people do, the better you'll get than them at it. So, like, keep making things and keep making things and keep making things. Even if they're garbage, just keep making things. Because there are going to be times in your career where you have to finish something and you don't have a choice. And it just has to get done. And you're going to have to kind of brute force it sometimes.
Just work on your craft every day and be as great at it as possible. So just be as excellent as you can, because that's the one thing you have the most control over. So whether that's, studying scores or music theory or production or listening to record, whatever that means for what you want to do. Like, if you want to be the best EDM producer, go find the best EDM producers and figure out what they did to get as good as they did. Because they probably put in the 1,000 hours, and you could find that information on the internet. You could even probably contact them. That's what I would recommend. Really take your craft seriously. I think most students do that.
What people care about more than anything else is what you've done. So do stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a big brand or whatever, but maybe there's someone locally that needs some music. And so when someone asks what you've done, you can say, check this out. And the music speaks for itself.
How about this? Go to YouTube, go watch these music videos I made. And it's me playing like 10 different instruments. Yeah. And I'm doing like Super Mario Brothers on 10 different instruments. I'm doing Legend of Zelda and they're melodies that people recognize, but they're covers that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
So not only did it help me in getting, I guess, like building more street cred in the video game community, but it also helped me build clients because they just see that I'm capable of teaching their son or daughter how to play some music. There's proof. I don't have to explain it. Just watch.
Tip number 5, learn new skills. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. It's always helpful to expand your skill set. It helps to make you unique, and it makes you more interesting to potential clients.
It's like every time I look for someone who's hiring a video game composer, they don't exist, but they're always hiring a sound designer.
Right.
And I think that's the secret, because I think a lot of these people are like, they want a sound designer, but it's like, oh, you write music too? All right, that's awesome. That helps out a lot,
I have an animator friend, and everyone wants a rigger, but no one does it. Like everyone models and animates, but doesn't rig. And he's like, so he's learned to rig over time because that's what was needed, right? And sometimes the sound design can be a similar thing. You sort of get roped into it, but once you get in there, it is actually a lot of fun. It's a different kind of thing, but that can just happen with a small team. You end up sort of becoming the audio guy.
Don't make excuses for not learning new things. that's something that held me back for a while.
Learn more than just the instrument you're most comfortable with.
If you diversify what you can offer to also, be like sound design and knowing implementation and stuff, I think that is a much more compelling pitch to a game company rather than just like, I'm a good composer.
Tip number 6, set boundaries. It's important to monitor your mental well-being. It's hard enough as it is to earn a living as a creator. So boundaries can really help to make your life less stressful.
Anything you do can be changed, and that knowledge paralyzes them, and it makes them very difficult to work with, right? Because they go, well, this sounds great, but couldn't we try this? Or they say, I want this. And then you give them that and you go, now that I'm hearing this, I realize I don't want this. I want that. And on some extreme occasions, I'll put rewrite clauses like, okay, I'm happy to do 3 drafts. And like, as you get more in the business, like obviously charging more, setting yourself up in ways to make your life a little less stressful. Like, be like, hey, just so you know, I don't work on the weekends. I'm happy to work from weekdays up until 6 p.m. or whatever. But after that, please don't call or text me. I would do these projects and I'd be like, I need to finish this so I can get paid because I need this money. And I was like, wait, I need to start asking for deposits. So I started doing that, and that helps alleviate a lot of stress too. It's like, okay, if I got a big work thing, it's gonna take a while, but if I can get 50% of that up front, that like relieves a lot of stress. Know that I have some guarantee.
Tip number 7, do what you love.
What an obvious thing, but what I really believe in is that you really have to make autonomous work what stands out. That's the best way to work on your career.
There are lots of different ways that you can make a living doing this kind of stuff. I mean, it's incredibly open-ended. You should think very hard about what it is that you find fulfilling, what it is that you could do day in and day out and not hate yourself for.
It's very hard to be vulnerable as a composer for hire, because if you're super vulnerable and like wear your heart on your sleeve, 50% of what you do is going to be asked, no, we don't like that, or please change this. That's really hard. That's why it's really important to have outlets. I really believe that. Like, you can totally express yourself in the way you want to. But with that being said, I would say compromises and constraints are very good tools to be creative as well.
Do what makes you happy. Because that's when you're doing your best, is when you're doing something that makes you happy.
Some, if not most of these tips seem rather obvious. But for me, it's been incredibly helpful to hear these 10 people talk so passionately about their experiences and their work that it really helps to see the importance of these topics. If there's been even a single thing in this video that made you go, oh, I hadn't thought about that, or I can really use this, then my goal with this video has been reached. I can only speak for myself, but these conversations have really opened my eyes to the options one has as a professional creator. And in the end, I think it just really comes down to the following.
So yeah, I guess like get really great at your craft and embrace the long game and make relationships. That's basically it. Do good work, be a good person.
Thank you for watching.